there.
No, honestly, I pull crazy hours, and then he like has a crazy day, and then like goes and pulls the night shift. Exactly.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming out. Feel free to grab more food and drinks throughout. We're actually going to kick off. I'm going to bring up one of our startup founders, Puck, who's going to tell a story of kind of how he came through the breakthrough program. He was actually, we worked with him in our previous version of our accelerator that now we've transformed into what we call the Prepare for VC Breakthrough Program, and got to go through the full experience with us. So yeah, he's going to give us kind of an intro to what he's building with Guru and Minerva and or Monera, and yeah, kind of tell us about his story and journey, and then we're going to go into some kind of presentations, updates from our side at Prepare for VC, and then you're going to hear from a few other founders, Devin with ProGM Finder, and Chris from Aloha Laundry Life. And yeah, really excited everybody came out tonight, and I'll share more as we get going, but want to bring up Puck to share his story here.
Thanks, Jason. Good evening, everybody. I'm Puck Fernston. Yay. Yes, no, it's a good-looking crew. A lot of smiles out there for a day in the evening before everything gets going. So I'm really happy to start this off today. I'm Puck Fernston. I am the founder of Guru, and I'm the founder of Monera Global. To give you a little bit, my story is a strange one, and I'm going to summarize it. I do admissions for Schwarzman Scholars. Does anyone in here know what Schwarzman Scholars is? We've been for 10 years trying to put the next leaders of the world at the #1 university in China, so that we have the leaders of the world in the next generation know each other for better relations. And in that process, my wife had a couple of kids. I was part of that journey, so I also had a couple of kids, but she did most of the work. So at that time, I'm doing a lot of research on how do you raise kids and how do you raise them to be potential world leaders. And face-to-face communication kept coming up from Harvard, from Cambridge, from all these different places. And so I wanted a mirror, a simple mirror that attached to the stroller when I'm pushing the kid around so I stay connected to them during the critical periods of development, 0 to 3. Years of prototyping later, literally years of prototyping later, lots of failures, lots of mistakes, lots of different people I'm working with trying to get this done for a universal attaching mirror, finally got it with a group here in Cambridge, the Harvard Innovation Lab. They failed faster. They did a lot of great work. We got a universal attaching mirror. At this point, I'm a little strapped for cash because years of prototyping is expensive and it's tough. And hardware products, if anyone knows hardware products, those are expensive, particularly when it comes to manufacturing. And so I left the world of juvenile and engaged the Boston market. And whenever you're engaging the Boston market, you try to find people that are good people, people that you want to be in business with, people that you trust. And Jason Krause was one of the first people that I found that I could tell. I read his book. If you haven't read his book, it's a very, very good book. And I was like, oh, that's the kind of guy I wouldn't mind knowing. And so I went through the Prepare for VC program to figure out fundraising and getting money to do the manufacturing. This process was really enlightening. I got to meet a lot of people in the Boston market. 2 years, I've been engaging the Boston market. So I'm a mentor for the Techstars group. Through Jason in the Prepare for VC group, I'm an admissions person for the Mass Challenge group for the early stage programs. And I'm pretty well connected to different markets around the country. Recently, I was just on television for the 2-minute drill program. Does anyone know the 2-minute drill program? Eric, thank you. It's a great program that is on Apple TV. It's a pitch program, sort of like it's basically a can you pitch well. I was a winner on that program, and so I'm going to be doing some more media for that coming up. And I tell all the people I'm connected with in Boston, if you want to get on this program, let me know because I'm in. I did the same thing in New York and Texas and San Francisco, where I've got some pretty good contacts over there. In the midst of all this, I got involved with a mining company. And I'm also the managing director of a mining company where we're doing commodities and commodity trading. And if you know commodity trading, this can be anything from gold to jet fuel. We're working with different partners around the world to try to connect them to do commodities. So at the moment, I've got two hats. One is the founder of Guru, where I'm still looking to manufacture, and it's about $1 million to do the manufacturing for a hardware product. And I'm a trader connecting different parties around the world for all these different commodities. And what I'm trying to do at the moment is fund my other business myself. And if you think that's easy, I know a lot of entrepreneurs try to do this, and they're working. I see entrepreneurs in this place. They're working their full-time job right now, and they work on their startup on the weekends, and they work on the startup at night. People have to figure out how to fund their business. If you're trying to raise funds, I can't think of a better group than Jason's group, Prepare for VC, to learn what that takes to get funding and then instantly get connected to a very good network here in Boston. The other way is you work double. You're working days and nights and weekends, and you're figuring out a way to fund your business yourself. And so the Guru business right now, we're on the cusp of putting these on every stroller in America. At the same time, I'm trying to sell these giant commodity deals and working with a really great team that has grown very quickly so that we can be a pretty big player in this international geo-relevant business called Monera Global. My ask for anyone in Boston, if you want to be connected to good people and you are good people, find Jason, find me, find the folks at Mass Challenge, find the folks at Techstars, find the folks that know the system, can introduce you to the system, and that system can vet you. That system can see, are you also a good person? Because at some point, you have to figure out who can you trust. And if somebody is in a trusted network, then it's a lot easier to make sure everybody holds each other accountable. Because if you're in the network, you're not going to mess around. You're going to do your best at all times. And so that's been my journey from a founder, all on my own, prototyping by myself in my garage with people in Providence, with random industry people, to becoming financially less secure, engaging Boston, and then finding this wonderful network and a wonderful startup community, maybe one of the best in the world. This is in many ways the engine of the entire economy. There's no way this economy keeps going if we don't keep punching out innovations. We don't keep putting those innovations out into the world and generating revenue. It's a pleasure to introduce this program. I'm glad Foley has us here because this is my first interaction with Foley, and I already can tell they've got great people. Alicia's sitting right there, who's going to be one of the people that's working with the startups. Great people that can help this innovation community keep thriving. And so that's basically where I am. I'm happy to connect to anyone that made their way to this room. If you got yourself out of bed and put clothes on and you wanted to be part of this community, you did it. You're here. And we want people who want to contribute positively to the community, part of the network. And so that's it. I'm Puck Fernston. Really excited to be part of this program and Jason's program, and look forward to meeting more of you sometime soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Puck. No, as you can see, we've loved working with Puck, and part of the reason, I wanted to share his story too is there's always this thought of like there's a one size kind of fits all approach to entrepreneurship, but everybody's story is different, and sometimes it's thinking about outside the box of how can I find funding from other sources, how can I kind of use another job or join another company, create another startup that will still let me like do my big dream and create your big vision and entrepreneurship, but think about how you get there in a different way. And that's something we push a lot, is like kind of taking that step back and finding other solutions that can be really beneficial and helpful. And then as we kick off today, wanted to share a quick video of kind of introducing our breakthrough program. We're going to go through and then, yeah, we'll dive into a couple other aspects before we kick off with more presentations from our founders. And yeah, while this is playing, like kind of the purpose here is, every entrepreneur's path is unique. We're looking to create, we start off the program talking about the big visions and missions of each of your companies and really putting that as the North Star and highlight that you're building towards throughout whatever you're building. And, part of it is also every company. We also talk a lot about the balance between the impact and the opportunity, like financial opportunity, and that, even it's from an investment point of view, there's been a lot of research that company or investors that consider how impactful and what the long-term benefits of each startup they go into, those that look at those aspects actually get at least the same financial returns. So yeah, a lot of our focus is on building big innovations, but thinking both through the financial and impact benefits of everything you're building. And the reason why we've actually called this, we used to call it our accelerator program. We've adjusted and kind of revamped some of the program in this last cohort here. We just wrapped, this is our 7th cohort of the program. But yeah, the reason for the breakthrough is there's always those critical moments where everything changes in the business, the roadblocks that have stopped your forward progress disappear. And we always hear those stories of overnight successes that aren't really overnight. Like, Airbnb was considered an overnight success, but it took years of hard work before they ended up selling cereal boxes to make money early on. And, all those stories that we see in the news and think entrepreneurship is easy. Everybody here knows it's not an easy process, and we're trying to break through some of those barriers and help visionary founders experience more of those breakthrough moments that put them on the trajectory to startup success. Actually, there we go. I wanted to give a couple shout outs, starting with, I'm going to bring Alicia up from Foley. And yeah, I wanted to thank them for being our gracious host for tonight and having us at this beautiful space.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I will keep it really short and sweet. My name is Alicia Dorner. I'm a senior counsel here in the Boston office of Foley Lardner. We're a big firm, so we have specialists in every area, but specifically, we have a really great group that represents emerging companies and also the investor side of the house. We also represent venture capital investors, family offices, anything and everything in between. So we really work with and partner with hopefully lots of folks in your communities, and we're so excited to meet you tonight. Please don't be a stranger. Please come up and introduce yourself if we haven't already had a chance to say hello. But as I mentioned, if you don't know Foley & Lardner, we are a big firm. We have about 1,100 attorneys across 23 offices across the U.S., coast to coast. We take a sector approach, so we do a lot of representation in technology spaces as well as healthcare and life sciences. So we really sort of have an expert for any issue you may have. And so we like to think of ourselves having the benefits of a small firm where we have a really nice community, we have nice people, but the expertise and the depth of expertise of a very large firm. So again, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you to Jason for partnering with us, and looking forward to hearing the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you. Wanted to give an additional shout out to some of the great mentors we've had involved. And, our team and mentors kind of facilitating and hosting sessions with us throughout the program. And to our startup community, Boston New Technology, we run various community events, everything from meetups to larger conference-style events. We're hosting a hackathon for Techstars Startup Weekend and the end of April as well. Really, great community, get to meet other founders, entrepreneurs, investors, and supporters of the community as well. And of course, our amazing founders. So Puck kicked us off with a story from Guru. You're going to hear from Devin Cody, who's the founder of OGM Finder, and Chris Dugan, who's the founder of Aloha Laundry Life. And then, we're going to have additional basically after both presentations. We want to keep it interactive, invite the audience to ask questions, and get to learn more about their ventures. But first, wanted to start with a quick exercise. So this is something we teach and focus on at Prepare for VC, is understanding different personas of people. These can be the customers you're talking to, the investors you're speaking with, people on your team as well. And these can be adapted where not everybody is 100% of one character or another. But wanted to kind of go over a few of these and get to know the audience in the room and which ones you might identify with as well. So we have a churner. Those are people who are very methodical, really focused on the details, and might, more analytical, introverted, deliberate, highly detailed. They have kind of concise communication and get to the point like right away. We have the charmer, who's more extroverted, flexible, high energy, really creative too, and combination of humor and adapting to different scenarios that they're thrown into. And then the challenger, who are more extroverted, determined, and really focused on the big vision and kind of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. They communicate in more of a direct, straightforward manner, while still, might push back on some of the ideas a little bit more and try to see, how, or challenge the what's being presented with a different way of thinking. So who stands out? If we talk about the churner, they are highly detailed, calculated approach. If we're talking about them as an investor, they'd be looking first and foremost at the financials, the risk assessment. They want to know the people and how much they can trust the information that they're being put in front of. They're looking for kind of evidence and how, de-risking any of the deals they go into, while still seeking that long-term value. Who kind of associates more with the churner persona? Of course. Oh, great. And then, the second one, the charmer. So, value, first and foremost, they're looking at the team dynamics, the people behind the business, seeking market disruption, and also the way the customers of the business are interacting and getting that customer experience. They want to be hands-on too and really get to know the founders and work directly with the team. Also might rely a little bit more on gut feeling and intuition versus some of the hard analytical data, and look for positive social impact. Who here identifies with more of the charmer persona? You got a couple? Great. And then, the last one. I mean, that would make sense. Maybe you don't identify with any of them, but the challenger, you're seeking innovation, disruption, really focused on that big vision and how scalable something is. you're looking at more of those high risk, high reward scenarios. So, could be from an investment point of view, might be looking at more of what are considered those moonshot deals. Like it might have a lower likelihood of success, but if it succeeds, it'll be a huge opportunity. You're engaged, really focused on how you can get involved and be part of a strategic advisory for the company too. So might say no to a lot of opportunities, but when you say yes, you're really involved and want to get hands-on in the business and, focused on how this can become a market leader. Who identifies with more of the challenger persona? Great. Yeah, we got a handful here as well. Perfect. And with that, that'll lead us into our next presentation from Devin. I'm going to switch the screen that I'm sharing. And excited to have Devin Cody kick us off on ProGM Finder, and excited for everybody to learn about what they're doing in the gaming space. Here we go. I can find the right tab. Perfect. There we go. Here you go. Yeah, Devin, welcome up.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, that's okay. Storytelling and playing games have been two quintessential parts of human existence for thousands of years. And recently, people have taken these two things, put them together, and created role-playing games. Role-playing games allow a player to take part in an interactive storytelling experience through the lens of a character or a persona. How many people in this room have watched a movie, read a book, seen a TV show, comic book, and thought to yourself, man, if I was that character, I might have done things a little differently? Because if you've done that, you've done the most basic form of role-playing. You've put yourself into the story, and you've become that character in your brain, in your mind. Recently, role-playing games have been used for more than just entertainment, but also for mental health treatment and as educational tools. To complete the interactive storytelling experience, you need someone in the role of a game master. A game master crafts and narrates the world around a player or a group of players. Each game master has their own unique style, just like a movie director or an artist. Game mastering is a time and labor-intensive role whose work can be infinitely reused, making it a great money-making opportunity. Professional role-playing game mastering is a technologically lagging but nascent industry currently exploding in demand. This underdeveloped industry is lacking the infrastructure necessary for solid business development and growth. These deficiencies have stifled expansion in the industry, creating a deep gap spanning from entertainment to education and mental health. This gap has created a $1 billion disconnect between the game mastering community and the industries and peoples trying to find them, all the while exacerbating issues that have existed in the industry for 50 years since its creation. Players have always had trouble finding a game master for their particular experience. For example, being a knight thrown forward in time. Players also have no insight into the quality of the game master before they sit down and play, which wastes their time and their money. Meanwhile, being a professional game master means business administration is necessary. They want to get to the fun instead of marketing themselves or chasing down people for payments, handling contracts, or any of the other back office work. I have a 3-part solution that solves all of these problems. First is a game master focused marketplace. We want to focus on the people providing the service. There's more than 10 times the number of players as there are game masters, and making sure that we can match the players with the right game masters, serving up their customers, the customers who are going to keep coming back to them on a silver platter time and time again, means that we're breeding retention right into the business right at the start. which means better satisfaction for the players and also a better experience for the game master themselves, because this is meant to be a fun experience for everybody involved. In addition to that, in our second year after we launched the MVP for the Game Master Marketplace, year 2 is going to see us implement our Game Master Performance Standard that we've built. This standard will allow us to judge Game Master prowess and their skill levels regarding the particular aspects of being a Game Master. Right now, this is completely absent from the industry. What this does is 3 things. Number 1, it provides that quality assurance that's currently missing in the industry. Number 2, it allows us to use data-driven feedback as a method of showing game masters how to improve, which is currently something they don't have as a tool. And every game master I've talked to, which is a lot of them at this point, have all agreed that this would be something incredibly valuable for them. Lastly, it also allows us to build a community between the game masters, because now we have a database of information, who has what strengths and weaknesses, and it allows us to build community by linking complementary weaknesses and strengths of these different game masters so that they can teach each other more effectively. Right now, these game masters have to go out, find other game masters, and sort of hope that they found the right one to learn the skills that they want to learn. This data can also be used to show game masters which classes they should be taking in our Game Master Academy, which will be built in phase 3. The Game Master Academy is going to focus on teaching new skills to game masters in addition to honing the skills that they already have. Some of the skills are going to be certification for therapeutic game mastering for mental health. Right now, we are going to be partnering with a nonprofit called Game to Grow. Game to Grow during the pandemic did so much business, they had to shut down and restructure because they could not keep up with the demand. Game to Grow wants to offer their therapeutic and educational game mastering certifications on GM Finder, Pro GM Finder. What this three-part solution business does for us is allows us to diversify our revenue streams. We're going to have transaction fees on the marketplace and the Game Master Academy. We'll be able to license out the certification standard as well as charge certification fees for whoever wants to become certified through Pro GM Finder. We'll be able to do focused advertising for publishers who are in the space, as well as merchandising for Pro GM Finder itself. And the unspoken revenue stream that's in here is the data that we'll be gathering. A lot of the data and the information we'll be gathering are industry firsts, and we will have this information available to people who would want to see it. That includes publishers, and we've even talked to a couple of AI industries who are interested in seeing some of this data, as it's a focused amount of information with players and imagination and improvisation, which is all excellent for AI. I mentioned before, this is a $1 billion market. As you can see here, the blue line is representing the overall game master TTRPG industry, the role-playing industry is at large. And the gold lines there are showing that the professional role-playing game mastering industry is here. It's active now. It's earning money, but it's about 90% untapped. There's a lot of room for competition and growth in here. Pro GM Finder's solution is comprehensive, and it can actually grow that $1 billion market. That $1 billion market is just addressing the marketplace itself. It isn't addressing the certification standard. It isn't referring to the data. It isn't referring to the academy. There is a massive potential for growth and to take that $1 billion way beyond. My ask is for $400,000. That is to get the MVP off the ground and to provide as big a bang as possible on release. The $50,000 I've already received from my first friends and family round has already given us the money we need to develop the website, and that development is happening now. We will be launching between July and November this year. And normally people put this slide up ahead, but I wanted to end on it for a couple of reasons. So first of all, who the heck am I? And how on earth did I come up with this stuff? Well, I am a game master, but I'm also an engineer. I've been a hardware development engineer for a decade now. I've led teams and brought products to market, but I also have a massive amount of gaming experience, and this is something that is a deep passion of mine. One of the reasons I became an engineer is because I wanted to help people. And one of the reasons I like being a game master is because I like bringing fun into people's lives, and I like seeing smiles on people's faces. This opportunity, this business that I'm building, allows me to do both of these things and accomplish two of my goals in life. The passion that I have behind this has been so attractive that it brought on Margaret Eckstein, who is now doing my social media work. And she's a game master herself, and she believes in the vision of this. You'll notice a blank space over to the right. I am currently talking to another game master who is a Techstars graduate, and he is pending the signatures that we're trying to get this week, going to be the CTO for the development of the website and also for the company overall. He's going to help me get this thing off the ground in a smoother fashion than is currently going on. But that space there is where he's going to be going very shortly. I just wanted to say thank you very much for hearing me out. If you want to be invited to the newsletter, please feel free to send a message to dcody@progmfinder.com. We have an investor newsletter and a general newsletter. Be happy to send that out to whoever would like to be a part of it. Thank you very much, and I'm here for questions.
Cool. Who has any questions they want to kick off with?
One question. I think you had this referenced on a slide, but would love to hear more about it. How do game masters currently, like, I think you had this as the competition slide. How does it currently work? How does the game master currently get engaged in a game? I don't even know if that's the right word. As you can tell, I'm a little unfamiliar with the space, but would love to understand it better.
A lot of people are unfamiliar with this space. It's okay. If you want to be a professional game master right now, there's three ways to do it. The first is you can sort of strike out on your own. You just say you're a professional game master, which is part of the problem. And then you go and find customers, and you can do that in a couple of ways. You can go to local gaming stores if you want to do in-person games, and you can just try to find people who are willing to pay for your services. You can go on social media or Fiverr or Facebook Marketplace. You can advertise your services online. You can make your own website. You can go out and you can advertise yourself, and you try to get your own customers. You have to handle your own payment processing. You have to handle all of your own scheduling, all of the normal business administration stuff. And then you have to do the dozens of hours of prep work that you need to do in order to actually do the game mastering in and of itself. There is competition in the space. I'll go back to the slide for you. My biggest competitor is Start Playing Games. You can go and list yourself on Start Playing Games' website, but I've spoken with a lot of game masters who are very dissatisfied with their service. They end up having to do a lot of the business administration themselves. Really, Start Playing helps them with payment processing and scheduling. That's about it. Which is why I was saying at the top that it's a comprehensive solution, because my goal here is to give them all of the tools they need to just launch their business immediately. They sign up and they get going, and we'll be funneling customers to them through our unique search that's on our website. Does that answer your question? No problem.
I have a couple of questions. What's the difference between a good game master and a not so good one? What attributes are you looking for?
There's a lot of different ones. I'll give you an example. Players in these games can use their imagination to pull anything off. You have to do it within the rules, but you can say you want to do anything, then you roll some dice to see if you succeed. One of the skills you need as a game master is improvisation. If you can't improvise on a moment's notice, you're not going to give a very immersive experience. Sometimes it's warranted. Sometimes you need to take a second. But I've encountered game masters who, anytime a curveball is thrown to them, they say, I need 10 minutes. You just broke the flow of the game. The immersion's completely broken. They can't think on their feet very well, but that's a teachable skill. Now they have to go out and find how to learn that skill, which means YouTube, usually, at this point in time. And then after they like and subscribe and watch my life story for 10 minutes, then they can actually learn the thing that they want to learn, maybe, which is where the Game Master Academy comes in. What was your other question?
So on the monetization model, 20% of transactions, that's probably
Yep.
$20 per player per session, right? How many players in a session?
On average, 3, but you can go anywhere from 2 to 10 normally.
So it's usually like a $60 to $100 game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many? I'm trying to tie it to the marketplace, just understand like what volume do you need to get to kind of have like a break-even model?
We need 500 game masters running 3 games a week with 3 players in each game. Which, to put this into perspective, once we sign the papers on the Game to Grow partnership, they have a list of over 1,200 game masters. So we are hoping to get access to that list, which they said they are more than happy to do, and we could launch well beyond our target goal in the first year, which is that 500 game masters.
Great answer, and the line is very concrete into the point.
Welcome. Any other questions?
You mentioned that there's games used quite a bit in education, which is a space I'm familiar with. So how do you see this being used in, the K-12 or higher ed classroom?
Sure. What subject do you teach, or what are you involved in education?
Development in the education technology space. The company helps the publishers build their digital products.
Sure. Let me put it to you this way. How much of a fan of history are you?
Depends on the type of history.
Sure. How much would you have remembered about the Battle of Waterloo if you were role-playing as Napoleon in the class against someone on the other side, and you had some of the people in your class being your generals, lieutenants, other people that you were... If you were actively taking part in the scenarios of history,
you remember it.
You're remembering it because you were actively in the space of the people in that historical role. Another thing that you can do is people often put puzzles in these games. You can gear the puzzles towards the subject you're trying to tutor. Math problems, word problems. Now imagine making Shakespeare into not just a play, but a game that people are playing and living out, and seeing maybe the emotional impact of that in a more interactive experience instead of just doing a play. Maybe, Romeo and Juliet rolled a dice and actually survived the poison. How would that affect the story at the end of the play?
Right.
See, the interactivity of this can help embed it into people's minds and expand what they get out of it, because you're now impacting them emotionally and they're personally involved. There's more to it than that. And funnily enough, we're planning an event where the president of Game to Grow is going to come and talk as well. So we'll be sure to send you that invitation, and you can talk to him as well if you'd like to learn more about how he's integrating education into these games.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Any other questions?
Yeah, can you talk more about the other partnership with therapeutic mentors?
Sure. So I have recently been contacted by a nonprofit named Frost Call. Frost Call is a veteran-run gaming collective, we'll call, who use gaming to benefit combat veterans who are suffering from PTSD or making the transition from service into civilian life. And they're using the socialization aspect of games in order to try to get them to socialize and interact instead of being home alone and stewing in their problems and having bad effects of that. I have been working on a joint venture agreement, and I'm discussing with Frost Call and Game to Grow to have the therapeutic game masters that Game to Grow wants to give me access to give treatment and have available functions and accessibility to the veterans who are part of Frost Call in order to sort of link these two populations who didn't even know each other existed until I stepped into the picture, which is where ProGM Finder comes in. As an example, right now, if you want to find a therapist, you have to try a therapist, see if you like him. If you don't like him, try another therapist, see if you like that one. If you don't like that one, with the specialized search on ProGM Finder, we'll be able to link therapeutic game masters to the veterans who will be most likely to stick with them. and we'll be able to get them therapy and some help in order to, give back to our service members who need our help. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, great job. Great job. And yeah, Chris Dugan, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, we can.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, if you want to share your screen and yeah, we can kick off your presentation here on Aloha.
Sweet. I do have a little bit of a delay from what I've seen, so I don't know if the slides are going to line up with where I'm talking, but I'll do my best here.
Sounds good.
All right, perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm not very well versed with Teams, so you have to bear with me here. But aloha. First, before I really get into anything, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here, just to hear everybody out. And I want to apologize for not being there in person. I'm actually based in upstate New York, and my family is in the middle of a move to Florida. Otherwise, I would have loved to have been there, but it just wasn't in the cards for me, unfortunately. But my name is Christopher Dugan. I'm the current CTO and co-owner of Aloha Laundry Life, which means I oversee and engage in all of the technology development efforts and corporate marketing objectives. Corporate marketing objectives is kind of just a bonus that got thrown my way. But today, Aloha's not here really seeking funding. I'm really just looking to initiate a conversation and extend an open invitation for you guys to join our investor update to potentially participate in future funding rounds. And I'm going to keep it short today, specifically because one of our core values here at Aloha is time. So I want you guys to know before we really get into it that I deeply value your time. And like I said, it's a core principle of what we do here at Aloha. So I'm going to keep it short. So obviously this is the first time that we're meeting. You probably don't know me, I don't know you, but I'm hoping that this will mark the beginning of a meaningful connection and potentially an enduring relationship with each of you. So I think it's important to tell you my story on how I came here to Aloha. So as Jason had mentioned earlier that I was a founder of Aloha, I'm actually not a founder, a co-owner of Aloha. And how that happened was a couple of years ago, I lived in a city called Grand Gorge, which is basically in the middle of nowhere in New York. Doing laundry was an absolute hassle. So I lived on the top floor. I had neighbors downstairs. I had a child. So doing laundry was the process of putting my clothes in the bag, throwing it out the window, going downstairs, putting it in the car, going back upstairs, getting the baby in the car seat, bringing him down, putting him in the car. And then the nearest laundromat was over an hour away. So it was like an hour drive to the laundromat where I would wash my clothes, dry my clothes, fold my clothes. And then I had an hour drive back and the same ordeal to get everybody back upstairs to the apartment. And it just hit me one day. I remember I was working a late night actually, because at the time I was working on another project. And it just hit me, what if I just shipped my clothes to the laundromat and I had them wash it, dry it, fold it, and I just picked it up when they were done? That would cut my time in half. So months go by and I actually developed an innovative service drop shipping model. I don't know if you guys are familiar with drop shipping, but this is how it worked for my business. I had a website and the customers could place an order for laundry service with my company, which was called Laundry Scoop. We would send the customer an empty box. This box had a shipping label, it had packing tape, it had instructions for their order, everything that they needed to put the box together. So they'd put the pre-cut packing tape, they'd peel it, put it on the box, put their clothes in the box, they'd put tape on the top, seal it up, they'd schedule a pickup with me. UPS would actually show up to their house, they'd pick up the box. UPS would take that box to the laundromat would wash it, dry it, fold it. The laundromat would let me know when it was done, they'd send me an invoice, UPS would pick up the box from the laundromat and bring it back to the customer. So this allowed me to basically solve my problem because the nearest laundromat was an hour away. And what I realized was, I had a solution that could solve a problem for, thousands, if not millions of Americans throughout the US. So I kind of rolled this out into a business, and I was actually able to service customers all across the country in several different states just for my home base here in New York. And then back in July, this larger laundry company called Aloha Laundry Life actually approached me. And after a couple of conversations, we had talked about merging our companies. And so back in July, Aloha had actually acquired my company, Laundry Scoop. And then when I came on board here at Aloha, after the acquisition, I was made the CTO. And it wasn't until recently that I started overseeing the marketing objectives, actually. So I'm sure you're thinking, if you had this company and you're servicing customers all over the country, what is the reason that you would even consider merging with another company, especially one that you're competing with? And I hear you. But the problem that I had was I was the only person on the entire executive team. So I faced like huge challenges. Like I was single-handedly doing all of the customer service, and when a box needed to be packaged, because it needed to be packaged in a very particular way in order for the shipping costs to be affordable. As you can imagine, when you're shipping something 3 different times, you lose margin every time you move it. The way that you ship these boxes is critical to actually being profitable. So I was also doing all of the marketing campaigns and verifying all of my vendor charges. And ultimately, it left me with no time for my family, no time for vacation. I had no time to recruit quality hires, and expansion and maintaining the business that I had built up to that point became increasingly difficult. And another thing was that the shipping model posed a huge hurdle. And I actually had several customers that gave me this feedback, was that they just wanted something that had a faster turnaround time. So as you can imagine, with shipping, you're not getting your laundry back the same day. So the time from the time the laundry was picked up to the time that it was delivered back to the house was actually a 72-hour process or 3-day turnaround time. So I was really never able to bridge the gap on how do I get the laundry back to the customer faster. And that's where I recognized Aloha as kind of a strategic growth opportunity, because Aloha had the same day service where they offered you could get pickup and delivery within the same day, at a higher price point versus my 3-day solution, which was a little bit lower of a price point. And basically by joining together, we could offer a 3-day turnaround time at a lower price point. The 24-hour price point would be a little bit higher, and this made it so we could cater to a more diverse group of customer needs. And leveraging my partnership with UPS, which I developed while I was doing Laundry Scoop, we can actually reach every household in the US. In fact, as of today, we can reach more customers than DoorDash or Uber. So the partnership actually ended up in a profitable exit for me, for my own company. And then for Aloha, this was their first acquisition. And then I ultimately assumed the role of Chief Technology Officer, and co-owner within the Aloha corporate structure, the same position where I have today. So that brings me into the agenda. And I know you're thinking, you've talked a lot about your company, but you're here for Aloha. They do laundry, but what does that even mean? So that's what I'm going to get into here over the next couple of slides. So, what is Aloha Laundry Life? I'm going to talk about some industry insights that I think actually you guys might find pretty shocking. I know when I started doing the research, because I had never done research into the laundry industry before I had thought about, what if I ship my laundry? And then as the more and more research I did, some of the statistics are just mind blowing, honestly. And then I'm going to come over to Aloha's achievements and cover some of those. And then I'm going to show you real results. So instead of just like fictitious numbers, Aloha has actually been an existing company since 2019. From 2019 and 2020, they did a lot of testing. It wasn't until 2021 when we actually started, for lack of a better term, I guess, going full bore or trying. So I'm going to show some of the real results that we've had. So what is Aloha Laundry Life? That is an interesting question. The short answer is that we're a technology company, but we're actually much more than that. What we're really doing is, and we're empowering everyday Americans to become small business owners, what we call virtual laundromat owners. So we provide them with the technology, training, infrastructure, and all the resources and supply that they'll need to start their own local pickup and delivery business under the Aloha brand. You can think of it like a franchise, but they actually operate under a licensing contract. And those VLOs exclusively partner with professionally vetted and approved laundromats, which guarantees the end consumer, which are those VLOs customers, that they're getting their laundry service at a top tier facility, and the customers are getting the highest quality of care, because we truly believe that that's what they deserve. If they're trusting you with their socks and their undies and their dirty gym towels, they probably have a high level of trust in what you're providing to them. So I don't want to really read these off the screen. I just wanted to throw these in there. But just to sum it up, basically, Aloha's vision is to become a household name and the recognized company in the laundry pickup and delivery space. As far as a mission, we're on a mission to revolutionize and modernize the industry through technology. And we just want to make laundry service accessible and affordable. And we want to be, we want to be the fire that ignites entrepreneurship within the United States of America. So before I get into the VLO opportunity and really what is being a VLO, I really want to take a second here and tie down on our team. Because as I mentioned earlier, one of the primary drivers behind my decision to merge with Aloha was the search for, expansion of the team and having a cohesive unit. And the team dynamics and culture just had super high importance with me. So giving every person here the credit that they deserve would actually take way longer than we have time for. But I do want to just share with you, why I consider myself lucky to be a part of a team like we have assembled here. So each person that you see on the screen there, including myself, is actually an entrepreneur, and we've been able to align all of our visions. All of us have either started or currently have additional ventures outside of Aloha Laundry Life. None of us are here just for a paycheck. We're actually united by a common purpose. The point I'm trying to make here is that our executive team is not just employees. We're a collective force of innovators and achievers with proven results. So for example, our CEO, Daniel Ellis, he was previously in business development at Toyota, and he focused on driving growth. He was an innovator in expanding the Toyota brand, and he eventually founded his own company doing, funnily enough, I think Puck brought up, or maybe Jason said this earlier, Airbnb. So he started his own Airbnb real estate company, and he now also leads Aloha Laundry Life. Our Chief Operation Officer, Jeff, that you see there on the screen. So he's quite unique. So he actually has several different businesses that he co-owns with his wife, ranging from real estate to online commerce to financial services. They have dozens of businesses that they run together. But aside from that, he also serves as a licensed pilot, and he flies some of the wealthiest people around the world on a regular basis. It's like a super elite company that he flies for. Our director of operations here, Sonny Burt, he was actually formerly an owner of his own HVAC company in Arizona, which was acquired a few years ago by a larger corporation. Unfortunately, I actually don't know the name of the company. I wish that I did. But he's now a laundromat owner. And shortly after buying his laundromat, he actually became what we call a virtual laundromat owner. And he actually became probably one of our greatest successes, what we say is the gold standard of excellence in VLOs. And actually right around the time that I came on in July, I think it was maybe a couple of weeks before I came on, they brought him, they brought him on to the executive team. They made him the director of operations. So he oversees the success and development of every new VLO that we bring. And Colleen here, it says the laundry coach, but just to be honest with you, Colleen is so much more than a laundry coach. She's been the cornerstone of Aloha since its inception. She's a retired school teacher, and she's actually the former owner of a super high-end laundry chain called Brio Laundry. And so it's basically really well known for how clean it is. You can eat off the floor. It's super modern. The lighting, the decor, everything is amazing. And ultimately, her industry experience is just unparalleled to any other advisors or people that we've talked to in the network. In fact, she's been nominated for, I believe it's president of the Coin Laundry Association this year. So having sold Brio, she actually now has another company that she does, which is a prestigious online training program called Laundry University. And this teaches people how to do not just VLOs, but also laundromat attendants and laundromat owners. It teaches them how to do commercial laundry, how to do it profitably, and how to get it right done the first time. So for us, she offers around-the-clock training to our team, our VLOs, our executive team, our junior team. She serves as our industry expert, and she ensures the laundry excellence in every aspect of our operations. And she's typically just a click away. In fact, right now she's battling some form of COVID, and literally 3 minutes ago she was texting me about an issue. I'm very fortunate to work with someone like Colleen. David is actually the newest executive team member. He's actually our senior developer. He focuses on back-end technology development. So basically technology that's behind the scenes that you don't see. He has nearly 20 years of experience running his own software company. He offers a range of services to a diverse group of clientele, one of which that I think you probably, a lot of people know this company. I'm hoping most of you will do. So one of his largest clients is Autodesk. So they're a renowned 2D and 3D CAD software company. So he is like the definition of a software engineer. And Maggie is our finance manager. She's also an entrepreneur. She offers like fractional CFO type services to a select list of clients. She's instrumental in developing our dashboards, showcasing our success. And just to be honest with you guys, she just saves us a whole bunch of money all the time. She identifies areas of saving, areas of improvement. And the more I work with her, the more I'm impressed with what she brings to the table. So this is the VLO opportunity. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process. So basically, if you're interested in becoming a virtual laundromat owner, basically the first thing that happens is you fill out a form or you sign up for a consultation, and we meet with you. We vet out your ability to be a VLO, and then we decide which one of the licensing options is going to be best for you, if any of them will be good for you. So I wish I actually had a slide here to show you, so I'll just sum it up. We offer 3 licensing options. One is called Basic, which is basically for people who have prior business experience. If you have experience in business and you don't need hand-holding, and you can kind of go through the technology process and learn independently without outside motivation and goal setting for you, you would fall into the Basic category, which is the cheapest licensing option we offer at $1,500 per year. And then the next one is what we call Accelerated. So this is for someone who might have worked in sales, or they're extremely motivated, they're very driven, but they don't actually have business experience. We'll put them in the middle category, which is called Accelerated again. This one is $3,500 a year. And this just basically includes a bit more hand-holding. You go through a 3-day virtual training period with our director of operations, and you have more of a streamlined access to the tools and resources that you need, as well as mentorship and that kind of thing. And then the last tier is actually $7,500 a year. And this is for someone who's basically worked a 9 to 5. They want to get into business. They have no idea where to start. So this is like the advanced, very in-depth training. We actually fly Sunny out for a 3 to 5 day period where you get hands-on training in person. And then you have that kind of comprehensive support. After they've purchased a license, we move them into the laundry training section. So we actually use Laundry University, which is the company that Colleen has now. So that they basically get added to our server so that we can communicate with them on a regular basis. And then they go through the Laundry University system, which gives them certifications at what they call level 100, 200, 300, and 400. And that basically just certifies them to take care of customers' laundry. After that, they come back to Sunny for what we call business training. So this effectively teaches them how to use our technology, how to structure their business, how to find customers, how to handle customer service. So kind of the business administration side of being a virtual laundromat owner. After they've been through that training, we give them their digital storefront. So their digital storefront, I guess the easiest way to explain it to you is when you go on the McDonald's app, it says pick a location that you want to purchase your order from, and then you click that and it opens their store and it has all their menu items and all their prices. That's exactly what we give them. We also give them access to a payment processor within there that processes all their payments. It has a scheduler that schedules all their appointments. There's a driver app that allows them to bring on their own drivers and operators if they want operators to wash the clothes. It also includes a dispatching system. This dispatching system makes it so that they can leverage third-party platforms like DoorDash, Uber, Roadie, and other third-party networks in order to facilitate pickup and delivery. Honestly, if I went on and on and on about all the technology solutions that we provide them, we would be here until next year. It is extremely comprehensive, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you guys might have towards the end on what else is included. I just don't want to waste too much time here. And then after that, basically they've developed their store. they've got trained, they got a couple orders under their belt, and then we just continue to offer consistent training. So we offer business training once a week. We offer a laundry masterclass once a week. And then there's ongoing meetings, such as what we call a break room meeting, which is, it's kind of like a town hall event, essentially, where we get all the VLOs together, take some Q&A. We take feedback for ourselves and implement that into our solutions. This is very much a program that has not flushed out all of the bugs and features, but we work with our community in order to identify what works best for them and what works best in the market. So that brings me into the laundry insights, which I think you'll find this particularly interesting. So what a lot of people don't know is in the laundry industry, and this is actually according to the two sources you see at the bottom of the screen there, as well as the Coin Laundry Association. In the laundry industry, 95% of businesses that participate in laundry industry, so whether that's dry cleaning, pickup and delivery, laundromat self-service, laundromat full service, wash and fold, drop off, all of these businesses as a collective whole have a 95% success rate. And what that means is that they're going to last longer than 5 years, because typically the way that success in business is measured is, did you last 5 years? At least in my industry. The laundry service utilization number that you see there. So that means that 37% of the households in this country actually use a washer and dryer at least once a year. A lot of them use it more than once a year, but 37% of the households in this country use a laundromat service at least once a year. And then the laundry hookup gap that you see there, 19% of households in the United States don't even have a washer dryer hookup. So let alone the ones that have a washer dryer hookup that don't have washer dryers, that number's not even included here. 19% of households just literally don't have the capability to do laundry because they don't have the hookups that are necessary for it. So this is the laundry facilities and dry cleaning market. And forgive me, the numbers I wish I had some more updated numbers for you, but these are accurate. So in 21, the laundry facilities and dry cleaning market was valued at roughly 10.8 billion. In 22, it was 11.2. In 2030, it's $16.1 billion is what it's projected to hit. So this is in-person laundry facilities. So I'm talking dry cleaners, self-service laundromats, or you have to go to the laundromat, drop off your clothes and pick it up when it's done. So this works out to about a 4.5% compound annual growth rate for the industry. When you look at online laundry services, in 22, the market value was 8.5 billion. In 2023, the market value is 11.2 billion. And the projected market value for 2030 is going to be $79.6 billion. And then North America holds a significant portion of this market value. I believe it's around 36% of the total market is currently in North America, specifically the United States. And all of this works out to about a 32.3% compound annual growth rate. So when you look at our industry compared to other industries from 22 to 2030, online groceries only predicted to grow at a rate of 27%. Online food deliveries only predicted to grow at a 19%. On-demand cleaning, like housekeeping on-demand services, are only predicted to grow at 17%. But online laundry is predicted to grow at 32%, which is substantially higher than the applicable related industries. So I'm going to quickly go over some of the achievements that Aloha has been able to do. So I'm going to high level from the corporate level. We have 37 VLOs that we've onboarded through our system. We're actually available in 18 active markets. I wish I knew how many states for you, but it is several states that we're available in. Some that I know off the top of my head is Florida, Arizona, Texas, New York, California. And I'm sure there's a couple more that I'm missing, unfortunately. And then this number here says providers onboarded. So when we find a laundromat that has been professionally vetted, and then we're proven that they're meeting the sanitary marks and their water is the right temperature and their staff keeps the building clean and they're meeting all of the marks that we consider necessary for providing a quality and sanitary service to our customers, we ask them if they'd like to be onboarded into what we call a provider network, which makes them eligible to receive the laundry scoop model services. So if a VLO is necessarily there, if you're a part of the provider network and we have an order that needs to be done, we will reach out to you if we don't have a VLO to do the order, and we'll offer it to you. And then we just pay the laundromat to provide those services, and we use third party, or sometimes we have our own Aloha drivers do the pickup and delivery. On the ground level, so this is what the VLOs have been able to do. 353 customers have been serviced since 2021. And actually 137 of those have been repeat customers. And most of our repeat customers are doing several orders a year. It's not just like they do one, they do two, they're done. I'm talking half a dozen, sometimes a dozen, sometimes in some cases, we're doing 50 orders a year per customer. So we've done a total of 3,170 loads of laundry since 2021. And since 2021, we've paid out over $110,000 to our virtual laundromat owners. And the next thing that I'm really excited to tell you guys is that we recently formed a partnership with Kathy Ireland and the Kathy Ireland Worldwide team. So a big part of this partnership was that the Kathy Ireland Worldwide brand and the Aloha brand, our core values actually align so well. We're both focused on nonprofits and giving back, and we value family and empowering the American workforce. That when we were first introduced to the Kathy Ireland Worldwide team and we talked back and forth, this was kind of a no-brainer. The stars kind of aligned, what they want, what we want, our ethics, our motivations, our factors, all these things kind of aligned perfectly. So recently, I want to say about a month ago, we actually signed a deal with Kathy Ireland Worldwide, and we're now officially partners with the Kathy Ireland Worldwide brand, which, if you're not aware, is a global brand marketing firm. And actually, since only a month ago when we signed this deal with Kathy Ireland Worldwide, we've identified 8 new locations that are set to open relatively soon, I'd say within the next 2 months. And we're actually in talks right now about opening the first location in Canada. And that's largely thanks to the Kathy Ireland Worldwide brand, which would make us the first international laundry pickup and delivery service. So really quickly, I want to talk about Aloha's growth and results. I do like to show very conservative numbers when I'm showing projections and those kinds of things. So I'm going to point out to you what are projections, what is actual, what is not. I am very much someone who wants to under promise and over deliver rather than tell you we're going to do this and shoot low. So a lot of the times when you see something that I've put together, it's kind of like, this is the bare minimum. We could probably do better. But this right here are actual numbers. So in 21, we did 78 total orders, which worked out to $1.6 thousand in revenue for the VLOs. 689 orders in 2022, 26.5 thousand in 2022 in revenue. We had 1,317 orders in 2023, which worked out to $100.9 thousand. So anybody who can do basic math is looking at these numbers and wondering, why does it look like it's getting inflated every year? Well, the answer to that is because our average order value has increased every year. In 21, our average order value was about 20 bucks. In 22, it was about 40, and in 2023, it was about $80. I'm not sure if it's gonna double again this year, but our average order value is increasing again this year. If you look at since 2019 until today, our total lifetime compound growth rate is about 16.9%. If you look at just the last 12 months alone, that's 50.53% compound annual growth rate over the last 12 months. So this is where the numbers get a little ambiguous with projections. The green number that you see there is kind of what I'm saying is the ceiling, and then that floor number is kind of what I'm saying is the absolute bare minimum. So the green number is based on that compound annual growth rate of the 50.5%. And then that pink line that you see there is the projections based on that 16% that you saw on the last slide. So in 2023, I just shared the numbers with you. But based on what I'm seeing here, it says in 2028, we'll be doing a minimum of $800,000 in VLO revenue. But what this isn't telling you is we're introducing a whole bunch of new revenue streams into what we're doing this year. So up to this point, we haven't offered advertisements on our platform. We are introducing advertisements. Up to this point, we've used Stripe to process our payments. The senior developer, David, that I talked about earlier, has actually rolled out his own, well, not his own. We have this payment processor called Aloha Pay, which is going to get rolled into our platform, which is going to allow us to collect revenue on every payment that's processed, not just, actually, I didn't even mention this earlier. When a VLO sells a service, Aloha keeps a 20% royalty of that service for all of the things and support that we provide to them. But the payment processor will allow us to also capture a percentage of all the payments and transactions that take place on the platform. In addition to this, I've developed an inclusive marketing tool. So this automates their customer service, this automates their phones, they can do text to pay. They've got automated sales funnels and pre-built email campaigns. So we're offering an inclusive marketing package that they can pay for, which is going to be an additional upsell. And a lot of VLOs are already using these tools, but they're using this service and this service and this service. What we've built is an all-in-one marketing package for all of your Aloha stuff with tested and tried materials that actually work. So the numbers that you see here, I just want to be super clear. This is only wash, dry, fold revenue and dry cleaning. This also doesn't include the laundry service from the box model with the pickup and delivery laundry scoop model. So this is just what the VLOs are doing. And with that, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to be here with me today. Like I said, my name is Christopher Dugan. I'm the current CTO and the co-owner of Aloha Laundry Life. If you guys are interested in joining the investor update, you can email us at investing@alohalaundrylife.com. If you want more information on just kind of the technology or what is Aloha doing, or what did you say at 10 minutes in, because I couldn't hear you because your pitch deck's not aligned with what you're talking, whatever that looks like, I'm happy to answer any questions. And my email is just Chris, CHRIS, @alohalaundrylife.com. And with that, thank you very much for your time. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, happy to take any questions here. Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not going to be able to hear.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Oh, hi. Can you see me too?
I can now, yeah.
My name is Miglena, so thank you so much for the presentation. And as someone who really hates laundry, I've successfully outsourced it to my partner who's happy to do it. But I think it's a great idea. I was wondering, can you please provide insights into who is your customer? Just give me a little bit more color into the
that's actually a really good
customer
question
that you're targeting.
So there's two sides to this, right? So what we're really doing is empowering people to become business owners. So in terms of what is my customer on the corporate level, it's someone who's interested in starting a business but doesn't know where to start. And that has a super huge application. Most of our VLOs are actually women, to be honest with you. A lot of the people that come on board and they want to get paid to do laundry and start their own laundry business, they're women. But additionally, what really benefits to our model is typically if you were going to buy a laundromat, starting a laundromat costs anywhere between $500,000 and $2 million. So if you're interested in starting a laundromat and you realize how expensive it is, our model offers you an affordable entry point into the industry. And as far as laundromat owners go, or people that have come to us because they were interested in owning a laundromat, that also has a wide variety of application. Everything from people that are in their 60s looking for a way into the laundry industry so they can pass something down to their grandchildren, to somebody who's 18 and fresh out of college because he wants to start his own business. To be honest, the customer base at the VLO level is so diverse. We have African Americans, we have women, we have men, we have people that are in the high tax bracket, we have people that are in the low tax bracket. In terms of the VLO's customer, who buys the laundry service, like yourself, who's doesn't like laundry, that depends on where you're located. In Texas, the ideal customer is students. In California, the ideal location is people that are business owners. In New York, the ideal customer is also people that are business owners. And in Arizona, oddly enough, the ideal customer is businesses. We do a lot of commercial accounts in Arizona, and we also do a lot of retirees in Arizona. Our customer base is relatively diverse. I want to say probably 60% of them are men, 40% of them are women. But that's just based on the name that comes through. We all know husbands don't order stuff online; their wife does it for them. So I hope that answers your question. But the customers that I'm serving are kind of the business owners. The customers at the VLO services are a very different group of customers. And I hope I answered your question.
You did, thank you.
Perfect. I can't hear Jason.
I appreciate the answer. I understand that it's hard to differentiate between B2B versus B2B2C. But I was just curious on the end customer's profile, so thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, any other questions here?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Sounds good. So my first question is, as far as the expenses for over the course of the 3 years, how did the expenses grow as the revenue started to grow for you guys?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. What I would say is our expenses I can really primarily speak in terms of technology, right? Our expenses in the beginning were astronomical. They were using Aloha before I came on board was using primarily third-party solutions such as Stripe, a company called JungleWorks, and a couple of marketing firms to develop content. So initially, the expenses were astronomical. Not only did we have to pay for custom solutions because these third-party platforms are primarily designed for pickup and delivery for restaurants, which what makes our service unique is there's the pickup order, there's the delivery order, a service has to be provided, and then there's another pickup, another delivery. So it's a 5-step process. As I've come in, what I've done is I've developed technology that's specifically suited to us, and I use APIs through Google and various other sources. That makes it so instead of us paying other people to develop this technology and create custom solutions and getting charged every time we need support, I'm basically doing that, and our primary cost is through APIs and fetches and webhooks and those kinds of things.
Okay. And were you guys at I see for the 3rd year, you guys made a revenue of 100 plus? Were you guys at a profit or a loss?
We were actually about 28% profitable last year. The $100,000 that you saw on the screen, that is the collective revenue that was generated by the VLOs. So if you took the collective revenue of all the locations, you put that in a pile, it broke $100,000 last year. Like I said, we make about 100, or well, that was a large number. We make about 20% of all of that revenue. So from that 100,000, we profited probably about 20% of that. But we also have other revenue streams such as the licensing that we sell the VLOs when they get signed up. We also have another arm of Aloha, which I wasn't really too sure if I should talk about this, but I think it's important now. We have another arm, it's actually its own company called Aloha Laundry Supply. So what this company does is it sources products, it sources business cards, it allows them to basically, it is the supply chain to our VLOs. So if you start at a McDonald's franchise, you got to buy the fries from McDonald's. If you become a VLO, you got to buy the soap from Aloha.
Okay, understood. One last question. As for on the B2B side, do you have an understanding of like the profitability for the people you guys license?
In terms of what is our profitability or what is their profitability?
Their profitability.
That's actually a really good question. I've actually never been asked that question before, so I'm glad you brought that up because this means I need to do more research on it. But the short answer is that it really depends on how you manage your business, right? So if you're somebody who's going to sit at home and dispatch every single order and you're going to pay Roadie to do all your pickup and delivery, and you're going to find a laundromat and they're going to do all of the wash, dry, fold for you, as opposed to you're somebody like Sunny who's going to go pick up the laundry yourself, take it to the laundromat, wash it, dry it, fold it yourself, take it back to the customer and drop it off. Or if you have a commercial account, maybe you do the pickup and delivery and you have a laundromat do the wash, dry, fold. Those profitability margins vary completely because it depends on how much work are you willing to put in. But another factor that plays into here is scalability. Because at what point, I mean, the average person can probably do about 9 orders a day by themselves. So at what point do you bring on your own drivers, your own operators, find a laundromat partner that can provide the service for you? I will say that Sunny's business is about 65% profitable. So I know for a fact that every VLO can reach at least a 65% profitability. But we do have VLOs that are all the way down in the 20% range. But like I said, it depends on various factors. What are you willing to do? What are you going to outsource? How much dedication are you going to put into acquiring customers? Are you looking for commercial and recurring accounts? So yeah, I hope that answers your question. But you've made me realize I need to do more research on this topic. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Any other questions here? Cool.
Sorry, that's my son.
Yeah, if not, great job. And yeah, no, great presentation. Cool.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jason. I'm gonna turn my camera off and I'm gonna listen in. Again, thank you guys for listening to me here. It's been great. Great questions. I apologize that I couldn't come see you in person. Thanks again, Jason.
Thank you. Perfect. So we had the two presentations and now just what's next. So first off, want to give a round of applause to all of our presenters for tonight, and also a big thank you to our hosts at Foley. You can connect with all the founders directly, but we can also make the introductions and also help connect with our larger network of alumni and startups through our programs too. So our company email is support@prepareforvc.com. Happy to connect with everybody, directly by email or LinkedIn or whatever channels you prefer as well. We do have our next cohort launching the beginning of May. We're actively reviewing and taking applications. We do have an exciting announcement on that too, is we're also approved for the Commonwealth Corp program. So that's an employee training program. Basically, they fully reimburse educational programs and our break if you have W-2 employees in your business. So yeah, if you're a Massachusetts business with W-2 employees, we can talk more about like getting free equity-free program from Prepare for VC through this Massachusetts program as well. We have an AI communications kind of shorter program that we're launching through Prepared Ventures and hosting other community events, meetups through our larger Boston New Technology community. Happy to share more resources with everybody that came out. Our goal is really just support and kind of be that resource for the local startup community to get the educational support, the connections, the network, and find other resources and providers that can help with every aspect of your company. And want to take this time, we have plenty of food and drinks left, and we're going to have networking time for the rest of it to kind of get to know each other and ask any of the questions you didn't get to ask before. Perfect. And thanks everybody for coming out. Absolutely.